Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of The Breakthrough, and today we have Dr. Erin, who is the Divinity Doctor, and
I'm founder of Good Morning La La Land and Soulciete. Our mission is to be the #1 spiritual leaders community in the world, committed to empowerment, enlightenment, and entrepreneurship.
tell us all a little bit about what you do, Divinity Doctor.
Yes, people are like,
What that means. What does Divinity Doctor mean?
Yes, right? A doctor of divinity, if you go, that means, I know everything. No, just kidding. Well, getting a doctorate in divinity means that from the lineage that I'm in is what's considered New Thought genre. So it's actually the time when Emerson and the divine school, basically they said God is not outside of the self, God is within, and understanding the metaphysics of life. So basically we teach universal law, how the subconscious is connected with the universal law, and basically how our oneness is. So divinity is really the connection between spirit and human beingness. So yes, but primarily I help people, restore and recover their true identity, their true, power within, and be able to really create the lives that they love. So.
Wow.
From a business perspective and a personal perspective.
Yeah, so where would you start with that? Because
we always start with one thing, and it's doing the subconscious work.
Oh, okay.
Always, always, always. So it doesn't matter if I'm working with a CEO or a top, Grammy winner, or I'm working with a beginner entrepreneur.
Yeah.
I don't care what you want to do in life or what your goal is. We first have to deal with trauma.
Wow.
And we have to deal with what's going on the subconscious level.
So do you have to deal with the trauma, you have to deal with the trauma first before you can actually then do the rest?
Yeah, well, I take them through as what I'm trademarking as the truth triangle. So we basically birth the true power. So it's really birthing and restoring the true identity and the identity. All of spiritual work is one thing. It's coming back to the I am factor.
Yeah.
So we come back to the true power, and then we birth the passion. So meaning that we have to get down to what are your core values and what is really true for you and what are you truly committed to. And we birth that, getting rid of confusion, getting rid of upsets, getting rid of failed expectations. And then we birth their purpose. And we do that through primarily dealing with what suffering and trials and tribulations you've gone through in this lifetime and past lifetimes, and that births the purpose and calling.
Wow.
I know, I was like, what? So from the values and then you can kind of see what people's purpose is and go from there.
It's very important to understand what you value, because each of us has a different core value, and getting in line of when it comes down to relationship work or work or any of it, we need to know what we truly value. And that's why a lot of relationships have, problems beyond the trauma, but then do we deal? So the work's the same. Doesn't matter if your goal is to become a billionaire or your goal is to have, a partner in life. We always do the same truth triangle, because it's really birthing the true truth for that person. Live your truth, as they say, right?
Yeah.
Right. How long does that take? What's the process? Like from start to finish? Usually
it's a great question.
Yeah, for your clients to see some success. What's the time frame?
Well, generally, I train ambassadors in the work. Ideally, a minimum of 12 sessions, because you can take them through the whole series. But I mean, look, if you've taken many lifetimes to get to this entanglement, if you truly want to really, really, really do the work, I would say you need to, you need to spend a significant amount of time with it. But
is there a way, whilst you're doing the work and going through the traumas over the years, can you tap into and access your purpose sooner, rather than wait for that all to
I think it's a great question. I think we live in like a really quick, we want fast results.
I know, I heard myself, I was like, oh, you're just being the instant gratification person.
I think I'll just go get, a tummy tuck instead of actually going to the gym.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, it's
definitely.
You can probably birth, of course, I do workshops, and in the workshop we can totally birth someone's purpose and calling right here and right now. There's no question about it. Give me an hour in a workshop and we'll come up with your purpose and calling.
Yeah.
The difference is, if you do it that way versus really doing your trauma work and going to past lives, is that it's going to be at such a profound level that you're never going to question it again.
Yeah,
right?
it's deep in your cells, not just a quick.
Yeah, so you might
sense.
walk out of a workshop and be like, I know what my purpose and calling is, and then the next day you're like, but is that really you kind of start to question, because all the kind of triggers happen, and the limiting beliefs and the this and that and that mind chatter that still comes in. So you can do it, but I think we want things so fast, and it just we have to have a little bit of patience with doing our inner work.
Yeah.
How do you do the past lives? What's that process?
Oh my gosh, I love that process. And not everybody goes there. I let, whenever I'm working with somebody or a group, I let their consciousness guide me.
Wow.
So I never am like, okay, let's do your past life.
Right, let's get in there.
It's kind of like, they start to kind of, it bubbles up. Like people all go, say they have a trauma or something, like, well, is there an earlier similar? And they'll go, I don't know, I have this weird feeling that I have this image of a woman, you know, and usually that image is coming from past life stuff, right? So we'll go, well, let's go there. So how we go into the wormhole of past lives is really through fantasy, as Einstein says. That fantasy is our greatest faculty, right?
Yeah.
So actually we go through, I invite my clients to just kind of play around with it a little, pretend a little. And oftentimes they'll have an image and they go into fantasy and then they're in it and they're seeing everything and feeling everything and they come out of it and like, that was more real than anything I've experienced even in this lifetime. And they realize that a lot of their trauma and things that are happening are actually like they're more coming from our past lives than we think. It's just because, you know, our parents got divorced when we were 2, right?
Yeah, or we've taken in some information and interpreted it that way. Yeah. But really a lot of it comes from...
Yeah, well, it's in our cells, and even epigenetics is proving this scientifically, that our memory, all good and bad memory, is stored in our DNA.
So what do you believe when you die? Okay, so Jessica, the physical body is stripped. My consciousness then goes back to the collective. As worldly as you can make this comprehensible. What do you believe happens when our physical experience is
It was one
done?
of my final questions, like, do we have individual souls? I do not believe we have individual souls. I believe that is the beauty of how we created it, that makes this lifetime very precious. That me as Dr. Erin is only in this lifetime.
And once that's finished, you're back into the ocean. Like my friend Tyler always says that it's a droplet. You know, the human body is like sucking a little droplet in a pipette out of the ocean. It may appear separate, but really when the body goes back in, you're just part of the ocean again. You're not.
I think that we created this way to make it precious. Otherwise, if I'm just eternal immortal as myself, then it's like, oh well, whatever.
Well, can do it again next time round,
right?
Yeah.
So I do believe in both. I believe that that's the paradox of life, that we are eternal, we are immortal, and we also are mortal in this form.
In this form.
In this form.
Yeah, but our energy is not.
Correct.
So then do you believe like Mother Teresa and Ted Bundy are going to the same collective consciousness and there's no
1,000%.
karmic debt for either of them?
I do. That's my belief.
Perfect. Okay, just curious.
But they live on is as the memory for they are and the legacy that they've lived, good or bad, or whatever that is.
Right. So what would the debt be then? Would it just be as a collective, like, all the evil things the serial killer did are going to be poured into the same thing?
That's the whole thing. It's like, how can we make the criminal this bad person? That's the symptom of our entire consciousness.
Got it.
So it's not like bad, shame on you. It's like, what's going on, you guys? How do we deal with this core stuff going on?
Yeah.
So I don't look at it.
So you
like
make that as your.
Person.
It's not like, separate. Like,
they're a bad person.
They're going somewhere else.
No.
That's it. I like that someone else thinks like that, because I actually don't with people that have murdered someone or things like that. When people absolutely nail them to the ground, although I don't condone what they've done in hurting someone else at all. There's a part of me that has a lot of empathy for what are they going through to enable them to do that in the first place? What's happened to them?
It's not like they came out of nowhere. Like something.
Are you
born evil?
Born and then I'm gonna go be a murderer? Like they're not thinking that.
It's a fascinating thing though, right? I mean, the consciousness is. I don't know how people aren't like
fascinated by it.
I know.
Or the divine. I know.
Like I spend probably too much time though. That's my problem. Is I'm so fascinated by it that all I do is think and talk about it, and I don't actually live my life.
But I think it's good. For me, I went really extreme and was very obsessed with it, and I needed to like renounce everything and like go like I used to spend 5 hours a day meditating and doing all that stuff,
figuring it all
and
out.
Then I went totally back and I was like, I get to now have a human experience. I get to like get back on my clothes and makeup and da-da-da. And it's like there's a point where you're like, this is a really cool game. Let's play this out, and like, what do we want to do with this whole thing?
Wow. So that's how you see it now.
It's like a cocoon. I really feel like it's just like that butterfly, metaphor, that the butterfly has to really go into the cocoon. And then it is able to come back out and like play and be like a totally in this world but not of this world, and have fun with it.
So are you quite worry free? Because you seem sort of cool about everything. Are you what gets you?
I have moments like it's like, okay, I had this moment just, I don't know, it was a few weeks ago or something, a couple weeks back. I actually found out that the possibility that I had lost everything in a huge investment. I don't know if it happened or not, but I got a call that the CEO was indicted, which is really not good for a big company. And I had a moment on the phone thinking like, I took a deep breath and went, truth, and exhaled, and it was like, nope, I'm committed. My mind is more powerful than anything. Money, I'm not my identity. I'm not how much money I make. Money's like an easy game, like done. So the old me, it would have taken me, I would have like, oh, woe is me. I would have gotten off the phone. I would have called every girlfriend and talked about how I'm a victim or how it sucks so bad or da-da-da. And I would have completely spiraled into whatever. And
story.
When you truly, truly do your work and you live in this work and you live in 100% faith, you become unshakable.
100% faith of what though? Like, because you obviously, to be that trusting and surrendering to all the negative external stuff, you obviously have to have that much trust. And I think the difference between you and I right now is I don't have that level of trust. But that boils down to because I don't know what the faith is. So what's what keeps you?
It's a great question. So faith, I used to think faith was that, I don't have to do anything, and something higher than me will
sort it all out.
Yeah. That's not faith to me. Faith is knowing that I'm cause 1,000%.
You are what?
I'm cause. And nothing out here is my identity, and nothing ever trumps my ability to create, and my ability to know that life is always working for my highest good and for my self-development. So when something like that happens, I go, oh, thank you, universe. That means that I am going to be developed at a new level within monetization, my business, and faith, and everything else. Thank you. Like, it switches so fast. Wow. It's not like, oh, poor is me. I'm like, oh, that means I'm graduating to the next level. Thank you.
And next level of what?
Of everything. Of development. Of having to, grow in my leadership in my business and grow exponentially in all areas. And if there's an energetic tie that no longer serves me in that investment, then it's meant to be. So thank you for taking that out of my spirit.
So there's no good or bad. It's
so
just
trust.
It's like it's always
even if it feels negative and difficult.
Always for my highest good. Always.
See, I envy so much that I'm really working hard at the moment.
Well, you get there because you don't have that like a muscle
level of trust. So was it a practice?
A practice.
So okay.
It's hard to think things that you deem so negative and that you fear for so long.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
That's interesting. And do you believe that's a choice? That mentality is a choice?
1,000%.
Yeah. So do you feel that come up? Like you could either freak out or you could go, well, I trust.
For sure.
Okay. So consciously, always choosing how to.
It used to be a much harder choice. Like, I'm going to choose to see this as good.
But deep down, I'm still freaking out.
The human side of you is like,
no, not anymore. Like, not even a second.
So, manifesting. I always have this question for people that come on that seem to have their shit together, because a lot of us don't always know how to manifest and what it entails, and there's all these different theories these days. It's too overwhelming. You've got Abraham Hicks saying this, Wayne Dyer saying that, and someone else saying that. If we're constantly if we're constantly creating our reality and everything's cause and effect, where does manifesting, visualizing, and belief come into that?
Sure, great question. So first cause is always spirit. So spirit is what's considered the masculine aspect of creation, in that it impregnates, right? The womb of the manifestation is considered the feminine. It takes it and births it into form, and the form is always the masculine and feminine as one. And so manifestation, your soul there's nothing neutral about your soul. Whatever beliefs are at your soul level is your identity, and you're such a powerful spiritual being that the minute you even consider yourself to be anything other than I am, you set a polarity into motion in the universe. You set universal law into motion.
Example being?
Sure. So an example would be, I am a woman. And now I've set in motion all kinds of things. I mean, it's a limited identity. So it sets in motion whatever polarity that does. I couldn't tell you what that is in the universe. It'd be a lot into our culture, programming, into all kinds of things, right? So the moment that you even consider yourself divided, you will set
some divide out there.
And the moment you consider that you are a victim, of course, you set all kinds of polarity. You all of a sudden draw on somebody that needs to abandon you, or as a perpetrator, or whatever it is, right? So the moment that we even consider anything, we set universal law into motion. So we're manifesting 24/7. It's not like you need to figure out how to manifest. It's that you need to actually do the opposite. You need to figure out how to basically delayer the identity.
Strip back so that you're organically just bringing in.
I mean, how do we manifest? Say I want a car.
Yeah,
or
let's
say,
go through, like, talk
yeah.
through.
So, you know, the problem with, say, The Secret or saying I'm going to visualize whatever
Yeah.
is that we will actually have a lot of those things come through to our life.
Yeah.
But one, we may become, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to fulfill us.
Yeah.
And two, it doesn't mean that we can really have it. Meaning that we haven't really embodied the consciousness that it takes to maintain that manifestation. So we may go, I want the cutest guy in the world, and he's going to be hot, and he's going to be smart, and and he's going to come into my life, oh my God. And then he shows up at your friend, comes over with a friend, and he's this hot, cute guy, and you're like, that looks exactly like the picture I have on my vision board.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And the problem is that we can't have it because then we start dating him, and all of a sudden all our triggers come up and whatever, because we haven't embodied what it takes to really be the mental equivalent of being
Of what
with
we're
somebody.
drawing in.
Yeah. So we manifest what we are and what we embody. And that's really what we have in our life. We can have some things come in, but
Some quick fix, but it won't. It's got no longevity because you can't match the energy of it to
you
keep
have
it
to
going.
match the energy.
So
of
you
it.
have to be, because I always hear that a vibrational match. You have to be what you want to attract. Is that correct?
Yes,
Otherwise,
correct.
there's no
Correct.
longevity.
Yeah. And yes,
Okay.
I mean, you can visualize it because we have like the law of transmutation, which whatever's held in mind has to take a form. But that doesn't mean that we're necessarily going to be able to have that unless we keep visualizing. And it's like a hard work to like keep
seeing that
Yeah,
thing.
so you'll see it a lot with people with money. It's like, I want money, I'm going to visualize money, and then I'm going to just keep trying to get sales, and it's like, but it's like this fear thing, and it just keeps coming and going because they just haven't actually embodied.
And the energy's probably needy and desperate rather than like...
embodying the consciousness, understanding money, understanding the exchange, understanding service, understanding value, really giving value. It's a completely different way of being than needing money. You can get the salesperson that gets money, but then they're still unfulfilled, or they're, it's not abundant.
So if you did need money, how would you personally, if you wanted money?
Number one, I would
do?
definitely work on all my subconscious work around limiting beliefs and limiting identity, self-worth stuff. And then number two, I would embody the skill set it takes to
keep
have
money.
that. So you have to understand whatever expertise you're in, or also understand the exchange of money, and understand the service and giving value. If you want value, you have to give value. If you want abundance, you've got to give abundantly. It's just a mirror, that. It's like just
If someone doesn't know where to start with, taking ownership of their life again, they're feeling lost, they're feeling all over the place and a victim to environment, what's a good place to start other than meditation?
Sure. Number one thing, in my opinion, is subconscious work. I think that meditation's great, but in my opinion, it would take you 20 years to do what you could do in a year of subconscious work. It would take you 20 years in meditation to do what you could do in a year.
Got it.
And
so you
conscious
can tap
work
into
being...
Subconscious work.
Subconscious work.
Doing your trauma work, really getting clear and sorting through your subconscious work.
Right, and if people can't afford that, if they can't afford to go to like weekly therapy,
Sure.
Can you do it yourself? Is there things you can do online? Is there
there are some
things.
I have guided meditations, but I'm actually working on the subconscious. I have a book, but my subconscious book is being worked on right now. So, I have programs, of course, that are less expensive, that are just on subconscious and community around all of it.
Yeah,
Happy to give your group.
That would be amazing.
So I'm happy to give you guys my free PDF book with my 40 guided meditations and masterclass, manifesting masterclass.
Oh, that's so
with that.
kind. I didn't know you were going to throw a book in there. I thought just an
so
online...
all they have to do is send their email, and I'll
Wonderful.
Oh
my gosh. So much. Okay, and where can everyone find you if they want to follow you?
Sure.
Instagram.
It's just DrErin.tv, so DRERIN.tv.
Amazing.
And I'm on Good Morning Lowland, founder of Good Morning Lowland, and founder of Soulciete. So the vision is to be the number one.
Power women.
Yes.
I know, you are
How do you feel being do you feel?
I feel effing amazing, and I feel like I'm just at the beginning.
Of what you want to do.
Yeah, it's like it's on. Like, and I get, years back, I remember listening, going, when you really embody it, it's just going to show up. And I was like, okay, whatever. It really does show up. When you really have embodied it, when you really are living the embodiment and doing the work and being that, it literally shows up. Like, I've had...
What's the time frame on that?
Yeah. How do you just embody, though? Like, how did you just
master
suddenly
your
embody?
craft? You need to master your craft. People are so consumed with, like, let me, manifest this thing and get these clients and do whatever. That's
The end
goal. Like, the end goal, like, you guys, like, the best investment you'll ever make is in your own consciousness. Like, do your own work, and I promise you'll have everything you've ever desired in your life.
And doing your own work is keeping check on your thoughts, making sure your energy is good.
Do your subconscious work, having your daily spiritual practice, have a community that is like going to hold you accountable. Never, ever listen to your crap and pretend like you're never the victim of it. It's impossible.
So you always believe in yourself?
1,000%.
Okay,
yeah.
and never, if you ever feel doubt, what do you do? It's the very last thing I want you to...
Meditate. I pray.
Really?
I don't pray to a man in the sky. I pray. I turn off everything. I go in my living room and I either turn on music or I just start preaching aloud and knowing the truth. Period.
Wow.
Until I have chills all over my body. Done. No, I'm not going to sit in that negative. No. Life's too. No.
Wow. So you just sit there and you'll be like, right,
Yeah.
I am amazing. You just remind yourself.
I do what's considered affirmative prayer. So there's 5 steps to it. First, I really acknowledge the one spirit, the one power that is, and I acknowledge myself that I am that in me is the ability to create heaven on earth right now. And that I know who I am. I see it everywhere. This is the same source. And that same source that creates scarcity or sadness or whatever can be inverted for good, and I choose that right now, period, end of story. And anything I'm dealing with, I do like an attorney. I literally fight for the truth within my own consciousness.
Wow.
I set gratitude knowing it's already done and release it to the law and go on with my day.
Wow, you are an
powerhouse.
amazing woman.
I am.
Absolutely.
And guess what?
I feel like crying. You're so
I was not
powerful.
that. I was a disaster, you guys. I was a total disaster.
Wow.
Totally
really?
confused, sad, just like I would be like, whatever relationship, I'd be up and down depending on how the status of my relationship was. I would think just someday when I just have enough money or I just have the next relationship or I just have a better house, then I'm going to be happy and all
Then
that
I'll
bullshit.
be okay.
Yeah, all that confused.
And
going
then
around
what
circles.
changed?
You surrender. You go, this is the most important thing, and you're going to keep having to surrender unless you surrender.
Surrender to what? Like
well,
everything's happening for a reason.
Yeah, or you surrender, realize this is the most important work you'll ever do.
Oh.
Yeah.
Above
Above
that show,
above a
getting
relationship, above money, above all of it. Period. For me, that's my truth. I can't speak for anybody else.
Yeah. I love your truth.
Yeah.
Whatever
I
you
know.
want your truth. I'm like, your truth is good. Oh my God, you are so wonderful.
Nice to meet you guys. Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on our show.
Yeah,
guys, how
Thank you.
magical and powerful and inspired do you feel right now?
If I can do it,
Because I do.
you can do it.
Absolutely. And thank you. I'm so grateful right now. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was
Guys,
really
I hope
good.
you enjoyed that. Another episode of The Breakthrough where hopefully you had another breakthrough, and we will see you next Wednesday. Thank you for watching.
Bye.
Bye.